Robert Kintigh is an author of The Lies We Tell Ourselves. I love the title of this book. I'm going to give this out a couple times. TheLiesWeTellOurselves.com is where you can find more about this. I'm excited to talk to Robert about this. Robert delivers an exciting new book packed full of stories, personal growth, and training, as well as a bit of humor as he takes you on a journey of self-discovery. Robert, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I appreciate being here.
All right. So how did you come up with this book? Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, for the longest time growing up, I kind of felt like I grew up maybe harder, or I had it tougher. I had it this and I had it that. And the biggest focus of my life at the time was my father. I got dealt kind of a rough hand, had a father that had a lot of issues. And, from my young life kind of moving on, every time I had an issue, it was easy enough just to blame my father.
Right.
And although that kind of works when you're a kid, it really doesn't. But, it seems to work. You kind of keep growing older, and it really doesn't work. And there's a lot of people out there that I knew that were just like me. But, at the end of the day, my big aha moment in life was, it wasn't my father, it wasn't bad luck, it wasn't all these things. What it really was the lies that I was telling myself and the things that I was taking on in life that was holding me back. And so when I discovered this and I kind of felt a sense of freedom, I really just felt compelled that I had to write a book that, maybe would give a point of view to people to help them to stop maybe the lies they're telling themselves or the things they're listening to, around them that's really just holding them back in life. And so, the book is born, and the program and everything else that we created.
I love it. I love it. Let me ask you this. What did it take to finally own up to your choices and stop blaming your father? Was it an event? Was it a relationship? What happened there?
Well, it really was a combination of things. What was odd for me was I was having all these victories and I was having all these just, I don't know if you'd call them frustrations. I don't know if you'd call them failures. You could name them what you want, but I just felt in such conflict. I mean, bottom line was, and almost, I hate to say it, bipolar to some degree. I'm happier, than heck one moment, and then I'm just being dragged down on the other. And, I just kind of one day just said, I've had enough. I'm going to figure this out. I don't care what it's going to take. I did maybe some really juvenile kind of stupid things. I did some really hard things. I did a lot of soul searching. And one day, like I said, it just became extremely, clear to me that, I'm not going to give up my power to anything else anymore, not to some mystical power, not to some, tragic event that went on in my life. I'm going to own up to this, and then I'm going to take and make this happen for me. And the first thing I had to own up to was that, my father hadn't been around since I was 5 years old, but yet at 15, I'm still blaming him. And so I finally just said, hey, enough's enough. I'm not going to do this. Now, it didn't completely go away at 15. It took me probably to, about 20, 21, 22, somewhere in there. But, that realization finally set in, and I stopped using it as an excuse more and more and more. I mean, I cut it down to a tenth of what it was kind of about that time. So,
well, you know what? I think that most people can identify with what you're talking about. We all have those lies, that story that makes up our identity and keeps us from really, playing all out. And something that you talk about in your book, which I really appreciate, is the winning mindset. What is a winning mindset, and how can people listening today begin to work on their winning mindset?
Well, I tie the two together because when you're telling yourself a lot of lies, you're really not being strategic in your mindset. And a lot of times you're just trying to survive. My family was real big about, just taking it one day at a time. And I just really realized that we're never going to have our best life if we're just getting through, if we're just surviving, if we're just taking it a day at a time, because, as you know, it's very tough to plan anything if you're just going to take it a day at a time. So a strategic mindset is really it's a positioning of the mind that focuses in on winning, your program in your mind to always be looking for the way to achieve, but not allowing yourself to back down, not allowing yourself to give up. It's always focusing in on the prize of whatever it is, because this isn't just about business. This isn't just about parenting. This is about anything you want in life. If you're going to achieve it, if you're going to go after it and grab it, you've got to, you really have to program your mind to have a winning mindset and say, I'm going to make this happen no matter what. And that, that's the basis behind saying, hey, we have to program ourselves to have a winning mindset at all times.
Gotcha. Hey, let me ask you this. In your book, you say, first rule is to break all the rules. What do you mean by your statement?
Well, I think that, and I point out, and I'll point out here, I'm not talking about breaking the law, and I'm not talking about trampling on other people to get what you want, but in order for you to live your best life, you have to be on your own terms, and unfortunately, that doesn't always fit inside the rules or the box.
Right.
So, if you want to be the best parent, you can't do what all the other parents are doing necessarily. If you want to be the best sales guy or the best sales girl, you got to get outside of the box. You got to be extraordinary, not ordinary, and do extraordinary things. So, I give several examples in the book of, times I broke the rules, but, here's why I was number one, or here's why I achieved, or here's why I became the best at this was, I wasn't so focused in on those rules. I was focused in on winning and achieving and getting what I really wanted ultimately for my life. And so, people that often follow the rules to some degree, that's what they focus on, and it really can't be about the rules. It has to be about, achieving and getting what we want in life.
Right. You know what? And I use the phrase "not taking the first no," and kind of the same thing is we are all conditioned to follow rules, but those rules are for the masses. Those are for everybody else. Not that they don't apply to us, but they don't apply to those who want to be apart from the masses. So if you do exactly what the masses are doing, you're going to get the same kind of results. And like you said, you're not talking about breaking the rules. You're not talking about crushing somebody else's heart or dream. You're just simply saying don't accept the rules as they apply, because they may not be set up to help you win.
Exactly. A perfect example is
explain why writing this book was so important to you, and why you hope it encourages others by his example.
Well, as I pointed out in the last chapter of the book, is that as we close this book and we get to the end, it really makes the biggest impact or statement, and that is, I had a goal, I had a dream, I had something that was going to be accomplished. It took me a lot longer than I wanted to, but the quality and depth at which I was trying to hit, wasn't going to happen, in 2 seconds or overnight. And when I wrote this book and when I realized these things, it was so important to me. I'd been helping people all my life, but we're talking 2 here, 1 there, 5 there. I really wanted to write this book to make an impact on the world. I wanted to leave something good behind. I've seen plenty of negative and plenty of bad things being left behind, and that's not what I wanted. I really wanted to, write a book and have it have meaning for people and deliver hope and courage and really permission to get over whatever's hanging you up. Give you reason why you can achieve. Let you know that, hey, you're struggling like all the other parents out there, but don't give up. There's something out there that, for you if you'll just keep on going. And, words are cheap. We say them and they're done and they, vanish into thin air. But my hope is that this book, because it's in the written form, is, going to continue to live on for a long time, and that people really can, take away a lot from it. And it's really, it's passionate in my life, and, I'm extremely grateful to be able to put this, writing and work out there.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I'm going to give this out to our listeners. The book is called The Lies That We Tell Ourselves. You can find it at theliesthatwetellourselves.com. Let me ask you this, Robert. Do you also have other things that people can find besides the book at the website? Or do you guys have a program or a coaching as well that you get into?
We do. We do both corporate training and individual coaching and corporate coaching. We have tips of the day. We have suggestions. We have, a blog. There's a Truth Mastery program that's tied to this that people can go through. We also have a online journaling program that we take you through. So there's a number of levels and things that people can interact with us that we can help them no matter what it is that they're, trying to accomplish or achieve or, wanting to work through. So absolutely.
I love it. Listen, we only got about a minute or so left. Tell us a little bit. You mentioned Truth Mastery. What is Truth Mastery?
Truth Mastery is the program and sort of our house, if you will, for the books that are to follow and the programs and And I chose the words truth mastery for a reason, and that is, if we're going to live our best life, we're going to have to start mastering the truth in our, in our own life. And so, our kind of our mother website to the whole thing is called truthmastery.com, and we really just want to help, and professionally, personally, both, whatever it is, we have things in place, and we're continuing to add more, on there in order to help people really, get to where they need to. And it starts with the person, and it kind of grows from there to the other elements and aspects of their life. So, Truth Mastery is, the housing for, is it personal growth? Sure. Is it self-help? Is it, personal or professional growth? It really is all those things, because we tie all of it to the truth of the individual. So, definitely go there and take a look at that.
I think it's fantastic. Robert, thank you so much for stopping by today. Guys, check it out, truthmastery.com or thelieswetellourselves.com. Robert, thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
You bet.